Violence in neighborhoods.
Violence in neighborhoods.
Violence in neighborhoods.
Violence in neighborhoods. Many people have been affected by violence in neighborhoods. Let's hear their stories.
First decided to move back to Chicago at the beginning of my middle school year. There was a gang that moved into my neighborhood and they started a trap house right next door. And there were a lot of nights where it was raids or domestic violence cases that was going on next door, and I couldn't get a lot of work done, couldn't get a lot of sleep. And I stayed right there by the street, so everything that happened I heard and I saw. And it caused me to move back home to Alabama plenty of times.
So I had a cousin that decided that he wanted to join a gang, and he didn't really know what it entailed. And it got down to once he realized what he was a part of, he wanted to get out. And in an effort to get out, he was beaten severely by each gang member as a way of getting out. That almost caused him death.
Gang violence is nothing new, and the Studs Turkle Radio Archive has evidence of that in their interviewing with Chicagoans talking about their everyday lives. In 1968, Studs spoke with 5 teenagers who were members of their local West Side gang. Even back then, it's clear that guns are meant to be tools of protection and power for the gang members, but in reality, they can cause much more harm than good, and it's obvious that this is still true today.
Last year, and it was a bad one, because that year I had an accident with a shotgun, and I shot my right leg, and I had to be wearing a cast and then brace and all this for about a year. And I had to go through Christmas like this, and it happened so fast, that for all the trouble I had to go through, it's been real bad, and I don't want it to happen to nobody.
Now we're going to listen to Erica and her experiences from gang violence.
There is an increase overall, and particularly in larger cities than in the rural areas. And in Chicago in itself, there is a 61% rate of homicidal gang-related crimes. Gang violence is causing disruptions in the community because it's leading to a lot of deaths. It's leading to a higher drug rate. It's leading to a lot of the value and depreciation of the properties within it.
Here is a youth perspective.
No, you can't go ride down the street on your bike because you might get shot. No, you can't walk to the candy store and get an icy. You feel me? Like, parents don't even feel safe with letting their kids sit in front of the house, sit in front of the porch, because they out here shooting little kids in neighborhoods, not caring about it. Teens, everyone. There's it's ridiculous.
On a preventative end, getting more involvement as far as mentoring programs and job placement programs, job training programs for youth, also linking families to community resources could be on a preventative end. Also, a secondary preventative end would be identifying those children that are at high risk based on several different factors, and definitely reaching out to those individual students and their families.
Here is a youth perspective. I went to this thing in my mother's school, and it was a police officer there, and he was talking about how what they were trying to do to cut down on the violence, and that was very important to me to be there and actually listen to him.
It hurts the community housing prices, and it drives residents to relocate or avoid moving into specific areas, which makes that property rate and everything go down. Being aware of who your child is hanging around, being aware of the areas that they're traveling in, providing more supervision than ever before because of the influences of gangs, and because knowing that most gangs are recruiting young males and females, but specifically they're looking for teenagers. I think that poverty is definitely, crime follows poverty. So when people lack the resources or they lack the means or knowledge to gain those resources, they result to a quick fix. I think that there is possibility of decreasing. I think, again, That would be utilizing preventative measures, which is getting involvement in the community, reaching out to local faith-based organizations, community agencies to put in different programmings for youth, for families, linking them to various resources. Also targeting children that you know may be of high risk based on several different factors.
And gun violence.
And the gun violence.
And gun violence.
And gun violence.